Welcome to the 5th season here in the Salt Lake City franchise. We're in 2029. A lot has changed in this series. And for the first time in this series, the Dodgers did not win the World Series last year after winning 4 straight rings. Royce Lewis was the big signing here for Salt Lake, and he signed a 9-year, $25 million lifetime deal. He will be one of our franchise players going forward. Last year in Chicago, he won the MVP, the Silver Slugger, the Hank Aaron Award, everything you can earn as far as offensive ability goes. He was amazing, and now he joins the Swarm. We also decided to go out and sign a veteran bat in Christian Yelich to probably help out our young developing bats and let them develop a little more before we move them up. And I like Yelich because he does get on base at a high clip, and he also still steals like 25 stolen bases plus a season. We then made a trade for an outfielder in Michael Vigil. Back in season 1, we were in between drafting Michael Vigil and Esteban Calzado. Well, we ended up drafting Calzado, and now we acquire Vigil 4 years later. Ryan Pepiot was our big signing in our starting rotation. Now, 2 years ago, he had a Cy Young caliber season, a 2.04 ERA, 101 whip. He was amazing during that stretch. And then last year, it wasn't too bad either. He was elite both years, so he's really coming off back-to-back very elite years. And he wasn't even a big sought-after free agent. And then we decided to bring back Brandon Woodruff, but I only wanted to bring him back if it made sense financially because he was getting paid $25 million a year before this past offseason, and we signed him for $10 million. We then, in the Rule 5 draft, drafted Seth Martinez. He had a high pitching clutch, which really did draw me to draft him. And then in that trade we made to acquire Vigil, Mariano Aguilar was kind of a throw-in middle infielder. I'm just curious to see how he will do, but another depth infielder added to the rotation. But in spring training, I really wanted to see if Bob Engel was ready here for the pros. I really signed Christian Yelich to allow Engel to kind of develop a little bit more, but I think we still have a question in the middle infield because there's no real guys that are really sticking out as starters, except for the 19-year-old kid Elvis Esparza. He had a pretty good spring, so he's going to start either at short or at second. Mariano Aguilar did struggle a little bit at 239, did not slug well at all, 296. In the second round last year, we drafted Derek Sinecor, but I wasn't expecting him to be a big league contributor in year 1. We've only done that with one player in this series, and that's Terrance Madlock. And then Bryce Matthews is the other middle infielder we have in this rotation, and he just did not hit well at all. Hit 130. We acquired him hoping that we could find something, but I'm not sure if he will ever be a good hitter. So I go out and look for a low-cost middle infielder who is not a starter that makes sense for another team to trade. And Jose Tena was interesting. He is very, very good versus right-handed pitching, and that's one of the areas we have to improve on. Now, he is a lefty, another lefty bat added to the lineup. And I decide to deal Elijah Vaughn in a 1-for-1 swap. Washington is still rebuilding. So I thought that they could use a mid-20s starting pitcher, and we would get a middle infielder for a need we really need right now. And I think this trade makes sense for both sides, and Elijah Vaughn will get thrown into that rotation, and they will accept that trade 1-for-1, a pretty easy preseason trade. So here is what our lineups will look like this season. Sal Frelick will lead off. He hit about 280 last year, and a really good season for him after acquiring him via trade. Christian Yelich will hit in that DH spot. We will hit him at the top of the lineup at number 2. And then Royce Lewis will hit number 3. And a big reason why, because I think that Terrance Madlock is just a clutch player. So I'm going to hit him at that 4 spot, hopefully to drive in a lot of runs this year. Maybe a 90 RBI season for Madlock. That's what I'm hoping for. Oliver Gonzalez is a high average guy. When it comes down to it, Gonzalez is going to hit in the top 5 no matter what. He is just so good at getting on base. Fritz De La Cruz will hit 6. He starts at first base this year with Michael Vigil starting in center field. But then that starts a trend of 4 lefties at the bottom of our lineup. We're definitely going to have to address that at some point this year. But just right now, this is what we're going to kind of look like. We do need to acquire more right-handed hitters. Versus left, it does look a little bit better, though. We have a couple of switch hitters, 3 exactly in this rotation of guys. Luis Lara will start in center field, so Michael Vigil and Lara will platoon in that center field position. Madlock moves up to number 3 as Royce Lewis moves down to number 4. Oliver Gonzalez does stick put at that number 5, but no real big changes at the top of our lineup here except for Lara jumping into that leadoff spot. He's just really good at scoring runs. That's one thing that I've noticed about his game. And then towards the bottom of our lineup, we do move Sal Frelick down. Now, he does not hit as well versus lefties, but he's probably one of our better options right now, so he is going to start in right field versus lefties also. And then Mariano Aguilar will platoon at short, so we will give him the opportunity to platoon with Jose Tena, and we will see how those two do in a platoon type of shortstop role. And then Elvis Esparza starts versus lefties and righties, hitting in that last spot. I think his ability to steal bases is definitely going to help because he's going to score a lot of runs hitting at the bottom of the lineup. There's no real surprises with our bullpen. We pretty much bring back our same bullpen along with adding Seth Martinez, who we got in the Rule 5 draft. But I do want to move up a player that we drafted back in season number 1, has now had 4 years to develop, in Sean Bichard. The overall is low, but the hits per 9 is very high. I do worry about his pitching clutch, though, at 23. That's pretty low, but he's going to make the MLB roster this year, and he will be the new face in the bullpen. Now, how we look as far as our prospects go. Enrique Reyes is still the number 2 prospect in baseball, the two-way player, but he's still got some developing to do. He's still young, by the way. But then we drafted Johnny Francisco. We'll see how long it takes him to make the show. He is the number 6 prospect in baseball. Now, one thing about our division is that it is going to be tough going forward. It's now season 5, but a lot of these teams, such as the Diamondbacks and Rockies, the Rockies in specific, have 10 top 100 prospects. They are the best. They have the best farm in baseball right now. We do have one more here with Eddie Rodriguez. He's still probably a couple of years away, but he is still a top 100 player. So we have 3 top 100 prospects in all of baseball entering the 5th season of action here in this series. So we take on the Marlins in a 4-game set to open the season this year. And the Marlins haven't made too many moves besides they did trade for Marcelo Mayer in year 1, and he has not worked out for them. He's hitting 7 in their lineup. So we will give Esteban Calzado the opening day start for the 2nd straight year. Despite signing Ryan Pepiot, I still do want Calzado to be the ace and him to develop as an ace. And he will face Yuri Perez on the other side. So here is Otto Lopez lead off this game. He hits one well to left field, and there is Terrance Madlock running that one down. And this season, the 5th season of this series, is officially underway. Griffin Conine hitting in the 2 spot, and there is a 12-6 curveball. Now, Calzado is a more finesse pitcher. The one concern when we drafted him back in season 1, he was our first pick in this series as he gets out of this first inning, was his velocity with that fastball. It reached 90 occasionally, but now it's hitting 90, 91 pretty consistently. So that is progression in my book. So here we go, bottom 1 now. Here is Sal Frelick leading off the season here for the Swarm with a ground ball to short. Marcelo Mayer with a nice strong throw to first will get Frelick out. The new signing on a 1-year, $13 million deal is Christian Yelich, and there is Mayer with a great play from his butt. He will make the throw. Wow, what a play by Mayer. And that brings up, though, the $25 million a year guy who all the fans came to see make a debut, the MVP Royce Lewis to the plate. He faces Yuri Perez. He gets a slider over the middle of the plate, but gets fooled just slightly, and that will be a swinging strike 3. Connor Norby to the plate now. He's got some power from the right side of the plate, and he hits one up the middle. It's stopped by Esparza, but it will be a base hit. Now, one thing I've adjusted this year with the sliders are the fielding errors and the throwing errors. I pretty much see none of them at all since I've been playing this series, so he will move that up. But there is a nice hit to the right side by Ryan Mountcastle. It will move the runner over all the way to third on a hit and run. And now they have runners on the corners here with Taylor Ward coming up, and there's a slider on the outside half. Called strike 3, just froze him at the plate right there, and it catches the outside corner. So a ground ball will get us out of this inning. 3-2 pitch to Marcelo Mayer, and somehow hits an inside slider to left field and will drive in the run. And it's a 1-0 ball game here for the Miami Marlins. This inning's still going here as Dalton Varsho comes to the plate now, and this one will be a chopper to second. Esparza over to Tena, and a throw over to first will get the double play. One reason why I liked Tena in a trade, too, is that he had amazing arm strength. So that was definitely a plus for his defense. Here is Terrance Madlock, the former Rookie of the Year back in season number 2. And he will watch that one on the inside half. So that brings up Oliver Gonzalez, who I'm expected to compete for the batting title this year. He hits this one hard up the middle. That one is just a rocket to center field. And we've had 5 hitters up so far and 5 down as that brings up Fritz De La Cruz, and that is a low curveball, ground ball to Mayer. And they will be out of the first 2 innings here of action. No hits by the Swarm yet. Here is Michael Vigil to the plate. Remember, Michael Vigil out of Tennessee was a center fielder in college. We were choosing between him and Esteban Calzado. We went with Calzado. Vigil went to the Rays. And now here he is with the Swarm. That's an inside pitch and a very bad swing on that one. Fly ball to short right field. And another out, 7 up, 7 down here for this lineup. Let's take it to the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's Christian Yelich back at the plate, and he hits this one well, and he will get the offense going for the first hit of the 2029 season. It's a 1-out double here for Christian Yelich. Only signed to really be a DH for 1 season. I have no plans to retain him long term as he is 37 years old at this point in his career. Here is Royce Lewis to the plate, and he just missed a slider right over the middle of the plate with good timing on that swing, as you can see on the screen there. But now a 2-2 pitch here. Another curveball. This time it is low. And a swinging strike 3. Just a little bit more speed off of that pitch than there was on the slider. So that brings up Terrance Madlock hitting in that 4 spot. Chopper to second. Easy play. And the Finns get out of this one. And now we move on to the second half of this game here. And now Sal Frelick comes up. Runner on first base. He swings at this one, but it does move the runner over to second. He was fooled on that sweeper. And now it's a situation where we have a runner in scoring position. And here is Christian Yelich, who had hit that double earlier, and a fastball up and in. It's a ball 4, and that brings up Royce Lewis in a really clutch moment here, and really a chance for him to make a statement in front of the home crowd for the first time. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. This is a tailor-made situation for an MVP. Here is a pitch over the middle. He hits it well, but right to left field, and it will get them out of this inning. Top 7 now, though. Calzado still pitching a gem in this one, only giving up 1 run so far through about 7 1/3 innings. But after that one, we do decide to pull him. He's at 100 pitches. I don't want to hurt him at all and risk injury, so we bring in Dennis Santana, who returned in free agency on a 2-year, $4 million deal, and he initially turned down a 2-year, $5 million deal. But he does come in. He gives up a couple of singles here, and now they have runners on first and second, 1 out. We'll see if Santana can get out of this one. So here's Varsho at the plate now. He hits one well right at center field, and here is Michael Vigil. But look at the arm and the throw to third. That's something that we have not been seeing in this series. We have not had a good defensive outfield. I'm really excited to see what Vigil can do this year. But now here is a deep drive. Jonah Heim comes to the plate, deep to right center, but Michael Vigil gets to it with ease. And we get out of that inning as we move on to the bottom of the 7th. The offense has just not gotten going. Here is Terrance Madlock. He had a good pitch over the middle, and it's just a chopper to second base. Bottom 8 now. Michael Vigil with an opportunity. Outside pitch. And it's just a ground ball to Mayer. Nice strong throw will get Vigil. And we move to the bottom of the 8th now with 2 outs. And Esparza with the ground ball. Mayer this time can't handle it. And Esparza will at least beat this out. And that brings up the top of the lineup here with Sal Frelick 0 for 3 today. Can we come up with anything? And that one will freeze him. A slider right over the middle, breaks over the middle of the plate. And we move into the top of the 9th inning. Santana still in the game here. He's thrown 57 pitches at this point, and he does get a ground ball right back to him, and it will get us to the bottom of the 9th inning. No offense doing in this game, and they bring in their closer, their new closer, Yainer Cano. As you can see right here, 5 opportunities for saves last year and only 1 save. So we had to take advantage of maybe this opportunity as he faces Christian Yelich, and Yelich gets a pitch right over the middle of the plate, and it's just a fly ball to short center field. Wow, what a pitch to miss right there. That brings up Royce Lewis to the plate, hitless so far in his debut, and this one's up in the zone. He drives this one deep, and it's off of the warning track. It stays in the yard, but it will be a 1-out double for Royce Lewis. And that's a way to start the inning right there, showing off the power, and that's his first hit now with Salt Lake. We'll see if it will pay off as that brings up the number 4 hitter. Remember, Terrance Madlock's been hitting number 3 in our lineup for the last couple of years, and now he has an opportunity here. Terrance Madlock will win this ball game. We couldn't get anything going on offense today, but now Madlock comes through in the clutch with Royce Lewis to give us the opening day win, 2-1. This new look lineup is going to be looking to drive in runs this year. It was a slow start, but in the end, this offense comes through in front of this sold-out crowd, by the way, on opening day. And what a win to start season number 5 with really the face of the franchise in Terrance Madlock. Even though we did sign Royce Lewis, I still feel like Madlock is really the star of this series. He was a second-round draft pick. I loved him coming out of college. He played for the Ohio Bobcats. But look at this. We only had 3 hits in this game, 2 runs, and that's really all we needed. And we get the victory. So now we go on and quick manage the next game, and we have Kevin Hopp on the mound for this one. Now, Hopp was technically a rookie last year, but he was actually one of our better pitchers in the rotation. And so far today, he's only given up 4 hits, 0 runs. He's still on the mound. He finally gives up 1 there, and he gives up a 2-run home run. And we have to sub him out here in the 7th inning after giving up 3 there. But we do get another run of insurance and a couple of more runs to extend this lead 8-3. We bring in Kevin Huber, who we acquired via trade last year as well. We bring in Casto a little early in the 8th to shut it down, and he will do just that as we get the win as Madlock this time goes 3 for 5. Homers in his 2nd straight game, and we get the win right there. So I decide to player lock with Terrance Madlock because I just love what he's been doing so far this year. And obviously, I think he's just a key component into making a big run. Obviously, we're not hoping, but, you know, an injury to one of these big bats in our lineup like Madlock or Royce Lewis would definitely be detrimental. And one thing that I'm going to be looking to do is I'm going to be looking to draft some depth bats that are big bats. Maybe not the ones that will start every day, but ones that can fill in case of injury, because Terrance Madlock was hurt last year, and I think that really did hurt our chances at making a run. So here he is hitting .462 to start this year, though. I think he's going to have a terrific season. And one thing that's been hanging over his head is he has not had an all-star appearance yet. And I think I want to get that for him this year. And I think, like I said, this year is really going to be the year that will really help him out, especially having a bat like Royce Lewis ahead of him. I think he's going to really shine in that role, hitting at that 4 spot and then obviously hitting at the 3 spot versus lefties. I think he's going to have an opportunity, like I said, to drive in 90 RBIs. We'll see what happens and what unfolds this year, though. But here he is facing the Marlins again. There is a chopper up the middle, still hitless in this one. And now we move on to the bottom of the 7th. I want to get one hit for him at least. We're down by 1 at this point. And here is a rocket to the left center gap. That one will be 2. He rounds first and will stand up on second with a double. And a nice little 2-out double here for Terrance Madlock for his second double of the year. But we move on to the bottom of the 9th inning. Facing Cano on the mound again. But here is Yelich. And he will hit a hard liner to first base. And the Marlins do get the best of us in this one. And we end up losing this game by 1. Now, last year was the first year we started actually winning these close games. I expect our offense to really be able to hit our way out of these deficits when we're down by 1 late in the game. Maybe we can use some offense to come back. And I expect this offense to really help out the rotation. But speaking of rotation, Ryan Pepiot is a guy that I really expect to take this starting rotation to the next level. We have a guy now that is, going into his low to mid 30s. He signed to a 2-year contract, actually a very favorable contract. And I didn't necessarily sign him to be an ace of this rotation. But here he faces the Detroit Tigers, who have Jake McCarthy leading off, a familiar face for us in this series. McCarthy, every time we played him with the Diamondbacks, ended up killing us. Here is Jace Young, who flies this one up into the air, and that will be out by Esparza playing third base today. So Pepiot gets his first out here playing with Salt Lake, and that one is a hard liner up the middle. Hits off of Pepiot, and look at McCarthy. He continues to do damage to this Salt Lake team. He makes it all the way to third on that. We go and check on Pepiot, but he kind of waves off the training staff and says he's going to be okay. So here is C.J. Abrams at the plate, who signed with Detroit in the offseason. But a ground ball up the middle. Pepiot actually stopped it but did not field it cleanly, and we don't get 2. And McCarthy comes across to score. It's 1-0 in the first. That brings up Vinny Pasquantino, and he swings and misses at that one up way out of the zone. And Pepiot does allow 1 in the first. Here is Mariano Aguilar to the plate. He was the throw-in piece in the Michael Vigil trade that we acquired, but I'm actually really interested to see how he will do. He was a guy I was looking at in the draft when he came out. That was back in season number 2, but I'd never considered him as a guy that I would draft based on his, his projection, but we'll see what he does with us. Here in the top of the 2nd inning, here's Colt Keep with a deep fly ball, and that one will get over the wall in right field. And just look at how close this was. Sal Frelick, if he was a little bit taller, he possibly could have got to that one. And instead, it's 2-0 in favor of Detroit. Here's J.J. Bleday at the plate. He does check his swing, and that's going to be a called strike 3. That brings up Akil Baddoo to the plate now, hitting .474 in this young season. He hits one well deep to right field. Another one for Sal Frelick, but this time Sal Frelick does run it down, and we do get the out right there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and kind of quick manage, or at least, simulate to the end. I kind of like this view where you can go in the game and just say simulate to end and exit it. It's just more of an expedited way of doing quick manage, just to see how your team does without your control. But here we do take the 5-2 lead. We end up getting 4 runs in the third, but then here's the Tigers offense, and Pepiot not looking good so far in this start, giving up 8 hits, by the way. So then we go to our bullpen and bring in Domingo Orozco late to get us through the 7th, and he does just that. On to the 8th, here is Seth Martinez, and he's had a couple of appearances so far, and he's been actually pretty impressive. So we decide to go ahead and put Mariano Castro in the game, and he gets us the win here and the save for his first save of the year, as the Salt Lake City Swarm do end up winning this game. And we start out this season pretty well. So I know these close games are going to be a thing that, we're going to have to get that monkey off of our back. And last year, like I said, we made steps in winning these close games. But this year, we're going to really have to commit to, honing in on the offense late in these ball games. So we do start out the first few games, 7 games of the season, 5-2. So this is the best start we've had in this series, and one of the first times you will see us ranked number 1 in the NL West. Not a very familiar sighting you're seeing here. We're technically still the 30th ranked team as far as overall goes, which I'm pretty surprised at, to be honest with you. So to end this episode, I wanted to check in on Alek Thomas because I just remembered I didn't see where he went in free agency. He ends up signing a 2-year contract, $13 million a year, actually a 3-year contract with the Angels to kind of take the place of the aging Mike Trout, which was very interesting to me. So now this year is for real. Is this the year we will finally make the playoffs? But the offense so far looks good. And I think the 5-2 start is just a start to a pretty good year for us. And we'll see. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. I hope you guys will enjoy this season. I'm excited for it to finally compete and have Royce Lewis as kind of the leader on that offense along with Madlock. It's going to be a lot of fun this season. So I appreciate it. Wow, appreciate you guys' support in this series. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.